is our way as the Blake family, and tipping our hats to Kenosha to maintain controlling the narrative of what's been going on here in Kenosha since we've been up here the last almost 5 months. We got my brother here today standing fast with us, showing solidarity. We really wanted to mention tight on a couple of things that's going on. Number one, we believe this was handled in a terrible manner, that justice could have taken place way before it got 20 and 30 below. We believe this is part of the play to push what's been perpetual systemic racism in Kenosha, the city, this county, and Wisconsin, the state. But it's a new day. It's 2021, not 2020. In 2020, we learned a lot. We were able to really analyze a lot and see where we stood. 2021 is the year that we tell the truth and get everybody to stand up and make some noise. There's a new sheriff in town. He's wearing a red, black, and green suit, and he's demanded justice for everybody that looks like little Jake. And it's going to start here in Kenosha. This is chess, not checkers. So although they're trying to use a scapegoat for the police officer and saying he was supposed to be trying to save kids that were going to get kidnapped, well, it sounds like he had a little passion and some desire to save some kids and do right, but he did wrong instead. He fired a revolver less than a foot from the head of the children that he was supposed to be trying to save. So it's 2021. We're going to call everything what it is, just like we did when Barr made a misstatement that my nephew was committing a felony and had a weapon. It wasn't so, and that's not so. This police officer Shetsky needs to be fired, indicted, have his day in court, and convicted. And until we get that as a Blake family, we're not leaving Kenosha, Wisconsin. We have a tremendous support system here through LOC, Leaders of Kenosha, through the Collective, through all the way up to Milwaukee, and the many different organizations that have been present and are present here today. We do not want you to leave here not fully understanding that the Blake family one day will get justice. Because if you had a small or minor job in your life and you worked your way from the mail room up to an office, you know it takes a little time. So we're a patient family. We've been fighting for justice through our families for generations, through my great-grandfather who was a Garveyite, my father on that side who was a civil rights activist that marched with King 3 times, on the other side of Pullman Porter and the Tuskegee Airmen. So we know about patience. But one thing we're not going to do is allow the United States of America, one of the richest countries in the world, to virtually jail each and every African descendant that looks like little Jake. Because if they get away with this, saying this gentleman was trying to protect the children from being kidnapped, then that means it's an open run on all African Americans around this country and around the world, because everybody follows this country. So that's why it's imperative that we get a federal look at every case that's taking place with police officers, brutality or misconduct. We as African descendants in 2021 are going to reap the benefits of our ancestors. They built this country, yet we don't lounge and bask in the liberties that everybody else does. It's unjust, it's wrong, and we're going to make that correction in 2020 through solidarity and unity with all the different organizations in this county, in this state, and around the nation. We want people to stand up and make noise tonight. Yes. We want people all over this country to get up and make some noise tonight. You should be glad you're alive. And so that's something to be grateful for. You should be glad that you're African descendant. And all the stuff that we've been through and still here, 2020 is the year to get it all correct. And we can do that by supporting little Jake and getting justice for little Jake right here in Kenosha. Is there any questions? I'm sorry.
One question over here.
Yes.
Adrian brought us from CNN.
Hey, sis.
How is your nephew doing, first of all?
So I got to spend a little time with him a couple of weeks ago. Mentally, he's on top of the world. He's our new hero. As an uncle, we should be his hero. But he's our new hero. The way he's taking this mental approach, the way he puts all his effort into his therapy and the passion. If anybody could walk again one day, it'll be my nephew. If his mind catches up to his body, not only would he walk here and run again, sis, So we're playing a game with time, helping him manage his pain. And so please keep the prayers praying, because prayer works. And he needs all of that stuff. Is there any other question? Thank you, sis.
Yes, Rappler TV Germany.
How you doing, bro?
Fine. If the policeman is not Mr. Shevsky's, doesn't get indicted, what are your plans?
Well, we're going to keep fighting. We know there's a state venue that we can take it with to be looked at. We know there's a federal venue that we can take it to examine it as well. And we're going to keep fighting. This is great things are happening in Kentucky and other states around long-term not handling their matters in the proper way. So the police officers, we understand, are fired down there, and we hope soon to be indicted.
Next question. One more question. Any for Jacob Blake Sr.? You can step.
This is my brother, my oldest brother, Jacob Blake. His son is our nephew, Little Jake.
Jacob Senior, Aaron with Fox 6 in Milwaukee. What's your message to Kenosha today and the days leading up to this decision coming down from the DA?
My message to Kenosha is let's stand up and make some noise.
Yes, sir.
Let's be heard around the world.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to stop in Kenosha. We're headed to D.C.
Yep.
We're headed to Nancy Pelosi's office. We're headed to whoever's going to be in charge of the Senate. Because this has got to be federally heard for not just my son, but for everybody who's suffered police brutality. Everyone. We have to make some noise and be heard. We can't sit around anymore. We can't wait. Are they going to follow the road that Kentucky took? They're not going to charge him, then they're going to fire him? What sense does that make?
What charges would you like to see?
Attempted murder. He tried to kill my son. He didn't try to take my son down. He tried to kill my son and could have killed my grandchildren.
Yep.
He could have killed the young lady and the child that was standing directly that angle from him, which you will see, and which his lawyers will show.
What do you think is misunderstood about the story?
I think it's clear cut. There's no misunderstanding. You shot him 7 times in his back, unjustifiably. Nobody's life was threatened. The only person's life that was threatened that day was my son, and the only person's life that was taken were the 2 by that young man that shot them and rode home with a bottle of water from the Kenosha police.
One more question.
Mr. Blake.
One more.
Mr. Blake, Channel 12 News in Milwaukee. They've brought in the National Guard. They've closed off roads.
They brought in the National Guard before.
Do you think that they've already made their decision? The DA's already made their decision?
You think about it. Think about how it looks. What is the National Guard for? They're going to deliver mail? They got ice cream cones? What do you think they're here for? We're ready. We're ready.
So we thank everybody for coming. We're getting ready to march around a little small part of Kenosha. We're going to end up in Civic Park where we got a couple of speakers. They're going to speak. We thank everybody for coming out on this beautiful day, and we thank you. It's a new year. Remember that. Maybe people were caught off guard in 2020, but now 2021, we know the facts, we know where we stand, and we know as a community what we must do.